switches could become clients of that CVX system. And basically all the switches send traffic to CVX, and then CVX replicates it out to all the other clients, kind of like a route reflector.
Okay.
And then finally, there's a relatively more recent VXLAN replication protocol called EVPN. It's basically using BGP. It's an address family under BGP to create VXLAN BNI signaling within BGP adjacent. So you basically create an overlay BGP network, and all of the nodes are advertising MAC and L3 reachability information. Control plane. Scaling over to larger topologies, we start getting away from doing static flood lists and using something else that replicates better.
Okay. Another question: how many MACs can learn by every VXLAN?
I'm so sorry. Can you repeat that question? It was fairly muffled.
How many MAC addresses can learn for every VXLAN?
So we run into scale limitations of MAC addresses based on switch models. The VXLAN can incorporate the VLAN to VNI mapping allows us to extend this. Let me take a step back.
Mm-hmm.
When we look at this topology,
mm-hmm.
The layer 2 domain is completely separate between these two environments. You could have VLAN 12 on this rack and VLAN 478 on this rack. As long as we map those to the same VNI, then they become part of the same broadcast bridge domain. Okay, so because we have locally significant VLANs, you're no longer constrained to 4,000 VLANs. The VNI address space allows for 16 million VNI mappings. So you could get 4,000 VLANs in this rack, 4,000 VLANs in this rack, all tied to separate VNIs, and effectively have 8,000 VLANs. When we talk about MAC address scaling, though, you're just limited to what is the MAC table sizes on particular switches. So I think a lot of what you're using, at least on the Arista side, are the Jericho 7280s, and we could pull up the specs there, but it's thousands.
Okay, and there is something to defend about the flooding of MAC address coming from a customer?
I need to look into those kinds of protections. Of course, we'll do storm control and that kind of thing. But can we limit the number of MAC addresses? Is that what you're asking, or?
Yeah. Just setting like a maximum MAC address per port in the customer edge.
I know we do that for more of our campus-based stuff. I may have to do a little research on that and get back to you. So let me just make a couple notes here. But on the 7280R boxes, MAC scale is pretty high. So yeah, hundreds of thousands of MAC addresses. So just make a note. Okay. Here's the other thing that we can do. So I kind of just showed you just a real brief run through of the VXLAN lab.
Okay. Just
Um,
one
yep.
question before moving to this topology.
Yep.
You show me the MAC address table per VLAN in the list.
Yes.
But for example, if we have like these three point sites in the same VLAN or in the same BNI, um, how do you see the MAC address that is coming from one device and for another? Because I only saw
Oh,
the
I see.
interface
Let
VX.
me see my, yeah, good point. Let me pull that up. So you can see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so getting timed out. I apologize. I'm connected on my. I'm tethered from my phone in the parking lot in between a meeting. So sorry. Okay, so we were on leaf 5. So we can look at the VXLAN address table
Mm-hmm.
for a particular MAC address,
Mm-hmm.
and here was our local MAC address on leaf 1, leaf 2. So on leaf 3. We can see, oh, we don't have any recent traffic. Oh, okay. There we go. Okay, so this tells me which VTEP.
Okay.
We've learned it via this VXLAN interface and this remote VXLAN tunnel endpoint. Right? And well, we can do this a couple of ways. Let me log into leaf 4 as well. And let's just create a new VLAN. You know, any old number. And I'm going to do that on both leaf 3 and leaf 4 because those are MWAG connected. Now, I don't have a VNI mapping for that new VLAN I created.
Mm-hmm.
So when I reconnect to my host, I need to create a new SVI. So I have a layer 2 MAC address here where I am so I have a route for this network on VLAN 12, but not on VLAN 489. And I'm just going to get rid of VLAN 112, or excuse me, VLAN 12. I'll just shut it down. So I have no layer 3 routing for that. And on my host now, I should no longer be able to ping my gateway because the machine is in a different VLAN, and that VLAN is not connected to anything. I've got nothing there. So I can remap that to the same VNI that switch 1 and 2 are connecting to VLAN 12. So VXLAN VLAN 489, VNI